criticism of military operations in Iran. During a recent interview with Hugh Hewitt, President Trump also suggested Pope Leo thinks it's just fine for Iran to have a nuclear weapon. The suspected gunman in the White House Correspondents Association dinner is being indicted on 4 charges. Cole Thomas Allen is facing charges for attempting to assassinate President Trump, assaulting an officer or employee of the U.S. with a deadly weapon, and 2 other firearms charges. Jim Roop, NBC News Radio.
Rescue Residence reminds area employers that too often our veterans and their spouses have trouble finding jobs. If you're an employer, join in on supporting our transitioning military service men and women. Bring elite skills, agility, and mission dedication to your organization. Hire smart and hire vets. That's from Rescue Residence in 29 Palms. We're there on the air supporting our veterans, those currently serving, and all military families. For more information, visit rescueresidence.org.
The Tahibo Tea Club is the only FDA-registered manufacturer of original pure Pau de Arco Tahibo tea in the United States. Just $59.95 with free shipping. Call us at 818-610-8088, Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. California time. That's 818-610-8088 or visit TahiboTeaClub.com. Call us at 818-610-8088.
For over 75 years, the Marine Toys for Tots program has provided toys and emotional support to economically disadvantaged children, primarily during the holidays. But needs are not just seasonal, and now, neither is Toys for Tots. They've expanded their outreach to support families in need all year long with their new programs, including the Foster Care Initiative, the Native American Program, and the Youth Ambassador Program. To learn how you can help, visit toysfortots.org.
This segment sponsored by our radio listening post in Yucaipa. Yucaipa Farm Fresh Produce, where you can get healthy in the heart of Yucaipa. You'll find locally sourced fresh fruit, vegetables, farm eggs, honey, fresh bread, nuts, and for your sweet tooth, delicious ice cream and locally produced candy from licorice to chocolates, all to your heart's content. It's Yucaipa Farm Fresh Produce, just down the street from Toscano's Pizza between 13th and 14th on Yucaipa Boulevard. Open every day, weekdays from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and on weekends to 5 p.m. For more info, you can call 909-790-6106. That's 909-790-6106. Shop local with Yucaipa Farm Fresh Produce. Tell them you heard it on this radio station and saw it on the DNA advertising screen inside the store. It's Yucaipa Farm Fresh Produce.
It's a bird!
It's a plane!
No, it's Super Roth!
Okay, a gimmicky opening for a commercial about Super Roth Universal Life Insurance, but I'm sure it got your attention. Now, what is a Super Roth, you ask? It's a permanent indexed universal life insurance that's totally liquid and easily accessible once it matures. Can be used to supplement retirement savings or a death benefit, or both. Has no income or contribution limit. Has no 5-year rule like Roth IRAs. Has no 10% penalty for accessing the funds before age 59 and a half. Oh, and the average historical returns are 5 to 7% annually, tax-free. Super Roths also lock in gains, which means you don't lose your money when the market is down. Sounds incredible, right? Sounds super? Super Roths are the way of the future, specifically your future. To see if you qualify for a Super Roth, go online to thesuperroth.com.
It's a bird!
It's a plane!
No, it's Super Roth!
Okay, a gimmicky opening for a commercial about Super Roth Universal Life Insurance, but I'm sure it got your attention. Now, what is a Super Roth, you ask? It's a permanent indexed universal life insurance that's totally liquid and easily accessible once.
All right, good evening. Welcome to the Farron Dozier Show on KCAA Radio, 106.5 FM, 1050 AM. Also streaming from the KCAA Radio.com website and nbrradio.us. We got to bless the show before we get started. Let's go. When I was in my mother's womb, I had a calling on my life to do something in the glory of God and marry it like a wife. Commit myself to his word and never be led astray. And when it's all over, when he comes, I'll be glad to see that day in the morning time. on KCAA Radio, 106.5 FM, 1050 AM, and streaming at kcaaradio.com. The station that leaves no listener behind. And if you're driving in your car and you got to get out of there, grab your device, download. Yeah, we got an app. So download on your device, Apple, Android, whatever you listen to. Grab that device, download it, and then you can catch us right there from your smartphone at any time. Plus, you can catch all the other shows on the network any time of the day. I mean, all day long, you can find something to listen to on KCA Radio. Again, we appreciate you for tuning in and listening today. Always have a very spectacular show for you here on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. If you're still looking for me on Sunday nights, I'm not there. I've moved back to Tuesday, so catch us here Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Also, you can catch me on Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Pacific time on the Military Broadcast Radio Network. I used to simulcast those two shows together, but we just couldn't figure out the sound quality. Because MBR is on TV, Roku TV, so we couldn't have that. Couldn't have no bad quality sound. So I had to separate those two shows back. So I do the MBR radio on Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Pacific time. You can catch me there. All right, so we're just not going to waste any time. We're on this wave of what it is to be a mailman, and I have to say not the postal mailman, but a mailman, right? And I don't do this conversation by myself. Shouts out to Charlie and Angelica, who are not here today, but they will be here next week. But my guest, my teammate here, Mr. Walker, how you doing tonight, sir?
Doing great, sir.
Thanks for coming and hanging out with me.
Hanging out and in the flow.
You in the flow, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, again, we're going to touch on the mailman conversation for sure. But, again, this is the start of the show, so we're just going to touch on some things that are going on in the world, and then we'll get into the heat of the topics tonight. And it is Mother's Day weekend coming up, so tonight we're actually going to talk about what it is to be a mailman, but with our mamas, though, right? How important are the mothers? And how we think about our mama, right? That's my topic is how do you think about your mom, really, that you don't say out loud? I'm gonna say it out loud for you so that you don't have to, but I want you to listen because our mothers are so important.
Very important.
Very important. So I've been blessed. Pastor Larry at the New Earth Christian Church, he was gonna do Mother's Day service because it's Youth Sunday. It's the second Sunday. Mm-hmm. And then before I could respond, he was like, "You know what? You got a message? I'm gonna let you." So I did Mother's Day, I think the last couple of years. So he said, "Okay, so do your message." So I'm on deck for Youth Sunday, which is Mother's Day. So I'm preparing a message that's going to be dedicated to my mom and uplifting mothers. So I definitely appreciate Pastor Larry for allowing me to train and develop as a youth speaker at his church, man. I'm really grateful for that. So that's coming on Sunday at 10 a.m. on the newearthchristianchurch.org. You can check that out if you're interested. But first off, just tell me how you doing today, man. What's going on with you?
Dialed in, though. Dialed into, like I said, the pain of being a father that you have to hide from your kids, you know, as that side conversation we were having is that because in the home, you want for your children to feel safe. You don't want for them to carry the same burdens and worries that you do, you know, even for survival and taking care of their needs.
So let me ask you, can I challenge you on that conversation since you language it that way?
Absolutely.
Not a challenge, but I want to expand that. How about we expand that?
Okay.
So we live in pain, right? We got pain, period. Pain is pain is pain. Military pain, whatever pain his pain comes from, right? We just don't talk about pain. I like how you said that, you know, you don't want your children to worry about you. Is that kind of what you were pointing to? Like, because we live in pain. We don't want our children to worry about us living in pain, so that they what is that you're pointing to? Because
it takes away from their lives. You know, and
that's what I heard.
Their lives of taking care of now their families and worrying about, don't call me because
no
to check on me and I know you're in pain. We go through that. That's a part of this life.
No, see. This is why this is a beautiful conversation to be a mailman, because we're gonna be a mailman right now. I hear you with that, but what if you're taking away them loving on you in your pain?
Well, that's fine, but don't have that be a main thrust of your call, because then you don't love on me. You keep reminding me of the pain that I'm trying to deal with and manage.
So from a son, I'm gonna give you was a son. So from a son to a father, who is connected to their father and loves their father, right? Don't you think they have a concern for you, for your pain and your health, and that's how they get to express their? You could be cutting off their love from them to you. That's how they're expressing their love to you, by calling you and not reminding you of your pain, but saying, "Hey, Dad, are you okay? Are you doing good?" And if we don't allow that to happen, then you could be cutting off the love that they're trying to give you.
Well, I can see that. I can see that, but again, but again, you know, it's
He's a strong man.
Yeah, it's a matter of dealing with your pain in your way.
Okay.
You know.
So I okay. You know, you got some more?
No.
So then, if I put that hat on, right, then I could see how, as a person living in pain, it's like, I know it's already bad enough. So we have to deal with our own language to ourselves about how we feel about our own pain. And the reminder of the child is is that what you're saying? That by them bringing it up, you already know that you're in pain, and so
you already know
we're dealing with the stress of our own body, our own pain.
Exactly.
That's what you're looking at.
And
Okay.
you knowing that you still got to get things done.
Oh yeah, well.
A case in point, 41-year-old LeBron James. You don't think he's in pain?
Of course. You seen his foot? You see them toes?
Yeah.
Them toes got some miles on them.
Yeah. But you have to reach within yourself and find that pain management, that cure, because many years ago, I came to the realization, no one is coming to save me. I must save myself.
That's a tough decision to make about yourself.
Yes.
So not even your children could come and support you and help saving you?
Yes, but I mean, you're not going to depend on that. You're not just going to sit on a deserted island and somebody's going to come and pick me up.
I get that. And thank you for allowing me to kind of pull some of that out. Cause,
absolutely.
For people who might be stuck in that situation, right, they get to hear us kind of talk through that in case they're, feel like they're not. Because I know with my daughters, when I'm, like I said, I don't complain. And this is my military mindset, though, that I was trained not to complain about my pain. Mm-hmm. So then now that I live in a pain 7 every day and it escalates to a 9 or a 10, I don't really complain unless it's a 9 or a 10, where I actually verbalize it. I usually just kind of keep it to myself. But when they do see me, yeah, they're concerned about the dad. They're concerned about my pain, and so I get it. But for me, I don't. If they call me and ask me, or if my daughter Brittany, she'll text me like, "How you feeling?" I'm like, "I'm good." Like, but
that's right.
It's the mental toughness that we have to have, I guess you're saying, for our own self and how we deal with our own pain. And so that being said, then some people can take their own self out, right, mentally, because you got work to do. You got work to do. You got your nonprofit and community outreach and all that. And
I'm taking care of myself. I live alone, so I can't wait for you to bring me my breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And when you have to go to work and provide for your family.
But they might want to bring it. They might want to bring it to you.
If that is on your schedule and menu, and if you're able to fit it in. But again,
you made a real decision about not being depend on nobody, huh? Yes. Nobody coming to save you. That was a real life. We're gonna unravel that by the time we done.
Yes, that's who is that has some layers to it.
I'm listening to you. I'm like, oh, that was a serious decision to make. That ain't nobody coming to save me. I mean, but we do that all the time, though.
Yes, we do.
We do that to survive those moments where we probably was like, man, I'm by myself. I don't want to be a burden on my children. You know, things of friends. Like, so I get it though. I appreciate it. I can see that.
And it separates the men
from
here we
the
go.
boys.
See, yeah.
But the children might want to take care of their dad. That's all I'm saying.
No,
They might want to take care of their dad, and love is love. It might show up different than how you express your love. They might have a love for you.
let me deliver some mail on your
Deliver
street.
some mail. Come on, give me some mail.
Now, you being in the service,
Yes, sir.
and you have seen a number of fellow soldiers who did not live up to or could not live up to the strength that it took to
Army standards.
to those Army standards.
Yes.
You know, now, if you're in the middle of combat and you and I are dealing with the enemy in front of us,
Yeah.
and if I fall in combat, you're not going to sit there and mourn my death. You know, you must condition your mind to fight on.
Oh, it's already conditioned. Yeah.
I rest my case.
It's already conditioned.
Mail delivered.
I love you, but it's already conditioned.
Yeah.
So I'll deal with those emotions later.
That's right.
So I get it.
And that's what parents deal with also. They have a military mind also when it comes to their pains, their sacrifices that they must make for their children. You know.
Yes. All I'm saying is learn, and I get where you are, but what I learned from myself is that sometimes we have people in our life that we don't think that they're big enough to handle our conversations, so we minimize them, we shrink them, and so it's like, no, I don't want my children to worry about me because I'm the dad and I'm this. But then sometimes in that same vein, we cut them off of how and allow them to express their love to us. So it's not right or wrong. This is not a right or wrong, good or bad. I'm just saying that the other side of that I learned of that coin is sometimes I could view you as not purposely, but I view you as small, so that I want to put that on you. But you're big enough. That person might be big enough to handle what you're dealing with and support you and come help you and be there for you. But we reduce the person in our mind that's like, no, I don't want to put that on like a burden. I don't want to be a burden, but we don't even give that person a chance to even support us. And sometimes that cuts off that relationship. That's what I'm saying. And that's what I did to my dad. My dad just loved me, wanted to spend time with me, but I cut him off. If he said something crazy, I ain't got time for you, bro.
Now, did your father ever express his pains to you?
Oh, yeah.
My father never expressed his pains to me.
Yeah.
You know?
So you don't have that ingredient. You don't even know what that would look like.
No, but I saw it in him as I got older and he got older, the pain that he was enduring, but both from a physical sense and from an emotional sense of being disconnected or detached from that situation.
Yeah.
You know.
Wow.
But that only came, like I said, after years. I mean, I was in my late 30s, like I said, shared once before. But when he laid all of those situations out.
Then you wonder, no wonder.
And being that we're talking about mothers, my mother was the glue stick of love in our family. My father had no definition of love, you know, and if he did, you know, it was late coming.
We're going to talk about love because the Bible says, honor your father and mother and obey your parents. It don't say nothing about love your mama and love your daddy and love your father, love your mother. So I'm with you on that one. But it does say fathers are the ones that have to have compassion for their children and their family. So, all right, we're going to play a PSA and get right back with you. This is the Farron Dozier Show. Mr. Walker is in the building. We hanging out. Gonna drop some more conversations on you in this next half of the show, but these are our public service announcements. This is Sickle Cell Trait Awareness. I was blessed to come, just coming from today, from Stanford University, doing a sickle cell trait talk up there with a group of young ladies. Hey, I'm Sergeant First Class Farron Dozier. I'm here at the military base, and I have the sickle cell trait. Now, why I got involved is I experienced what they call sickle cell trait exertion. And I was doing the Army physical fitness test, the 2-mile run, and when I got done, I collapsed. A lot of soldiers and athletes have been dying at football fields and running track, and the family members have no idea that they have the sickle cell trait gene or that it's a trigger. So my purpose is to mobilize the community so we can find out what's in your genes. How will life be if we could prevent another child from being born with sickle cell trait or disease? And if a child was born with the trait or disease, that the family members would have the education, awareness, and resources in every city that they lived in. So tune into our webinar series and find out what's the count.
What's the count? What's the count? What's the count?
Zetovia salve, made from natural and organic ingredients, good for inflammation, poor circulation, hemorrhoids, yeast infection, lip sores, dry coughs, eye pain, minor cuts and bruises, and ready to purchase at botanicaherbalco.com. BOTANICAHERBALCO.com. botanicaherbalco.com.
Muchos de nosotros nos vemos afectados por la enfermedad de células falciformes a diario y un número creciente simplemente no nos damos cuenta. Los impactos de esta enfermedad afectan a todas las personas y en especialmente a las personas de color y con antecedentes diversos. Estar en servicio conmigo y con los demás a medida que creamos una mayor conciencia sobre cómo identificar y dirigir el tratamiento de los rasgos de células falciformes y ayudar a las familias a saber cómo superar el trastorno de células falciformes. wdconsct.org. Gracias por su atención.
All right, welcome back to the Farron Dozier Show on KCA Radio 106.5 FM, 1050 AM. If you have any questions about sickle cell trait, rhabdomyolysis, my experience in the military came to an end because of that sickle cell trait exertion and the combination of rhabdomyolysis. And that's my talk. That's my connector to the community. And we're going to be doing some hydration campaigns. Shout out to Mr. Walker, who sponsored us, the ABA basketball team this past season. So the Hounds... we are gonna be right now in season this year, so it's gonna we're gonna pull it together. But I don't want to sit out. So your Inland Empire Hounds will be playing this season. We got a unique schedule this year. We're able to so the way the ABA is designed now that we got to play 6 mandatory teams to make sure everybody gets fair territory play travel. So we got 6 of those games. 2 of those that's 12, and then we have 8 that are home games. But we're going to be playing 6 of those home games in 3 tournaments. So that means right now, currently, we're only going to have like 2 major home games for the season. Everything will be traveling. So we're going to have a home opener, season opener, and probably have a season ending here in the Inland Empire. But we want you to support us on the road. So we're going to have some campaigns that will keep you, if you want to brand with us on the ABA team and get your company noticed on social media and our website. We got about 400,000 plus website hits right now since we started in June of last year. So the website is doing really good on branding, eyeballs on the website. But the way I'm putting the schedule this year, by playing in those 3 tournaments as counting as home games, we only have to have 2 official home games, and then the rest are traveling. So
it sounds like you depended on yourself to get these things done.
I am right now throwing my hat over the fence so that these guys can, and my ego too. I ain't gonna lie to you. My identity is trapped in this ABA as well. They're not by themselves. We all chasing the hoop dream in some way.
Some kind of way.
Some kind of way. All right, Mr. Walker. One more thing about the community outreach. It's Mental Health Awareness Month. Since we're talking about the pain and all that, for you, what comes to your mind when you hear about mental health? What's the first thing pops up in your mind? Mental health.
Well, the topic of mental health, the way that is being discussed now, is much better than what it was back in the day. back in the day, it was hid. It was not a open discussion. It was something that people were fearful of, were unaware of, and it was in every family,
Yeah.
But it was not an open discussion, and I doubt it, even if it was even held inside the houses.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's a good thing that these issues are being brought to the table today, and there is more information about mental health and how to deal with it, so that you don't have to deal with it alone, so that you don't have to deal with the pain of depression and separation, if you will, from that situation, because the information is here. There's organizations, there's topic matters. They have even a depression line and suicide watch and suicide lines that you can call now, which is excellent.
Yeah.
It did not exist. So
I want to put this out there. For me, mental health, totally important. I still have to manage mine. I know what that feels like. I know what it tastes like. I know what it feels like to have a plan. I know what it feels like to almost go through with the plan. So God brought me through the other side of that, right? And in which I want to say, if we look at it from a spiritual conversation, do you know that Christ was tested by Satan to commit suicide?
absolutely.
I don't know if people really understand that, but in Matthew 4, 5, and 6, Satan tested his pride and asked him to just jump off. If you say who you say you are, jump off. They gonna catch. He gonna
The
catch
angels
you.
will catch you.
He ain't gonna catch you.
Yeah.
I was like, he really asked him to jump off the mountain, off the cliff.
Mm-hmm. And even when he was in the Garden of Gethsemane, he even in his prayers, Father, if there's any way that this can be removed from me, and then he himself called himself, your will be done.
Yeah.
And see, that is the kind of reliance of faith that you must have and hold on even in your darkest moments. But see, a lot of us, there's an emotional suicide that we commit, that we cut off ourselves from calling ourselves protecting ourselves. So we take another exit, detour from the big suicide, and we just cut people off.
Yeah, that's unfortunately one of the consequences of the whole Adam and Eve conversation, and where God told them not to eat that off that tree of knowledge of good and evil because they would die. And it wasn't just a physical death; it was an emotional death, which is what we talk about that. And the last piece of this mental health conversation, because we're gonna talk about it more, is the guy that walked with Christ, Judas, who betrayed him.
Yes.
And then after he realized what he did, he even threw the money. It says he threw the silver back at them. Like, I don't even want the money, but it was too late.
Too late.
It was too late. But then I wonder. It's wild because Christ knew that somebody was going to do that, and I believe that the scripture is an example of what happens in life, and so people go through that.
But there had to be a betrayal.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Judah had to play his role,
right?
And when you brought that up, there are people sitting inside of prison cells today for a decision of 5 minutes.
That right there.
That are doing life. How does that equate? What kind of math is that?
You said it.
And then when they get into doing all of those years, they said, 5 minutes, if I would have made another decision, we wouldn't be having this conversation. This is my 27th year in prison, in a cell. And now that's not the same man, but he still has 20 more years, 27 more years to do.
And so let's just go right into this male man conversation. It's Mother's Day weekend. One of the commandments with the promise is Exodus 20:12, man. It says, honor your father and mother, that your days may be long upon the land which the Lord God, your God, is giving you, right? Those 5 minutes, right, of making that decision to do whatever that could change the course of your life, the thought process.
Yes.
That's what I want to point to in that. The honor your father and mother is how you think about them. It's not how you love them. I want to say that. You have to read what it says. Honor. I have to look at the definition of honor. Esteem is how we think about them. If there's any wedge between that child and that mom and that dad that doesn't think that they care about me or they don't think that they listen to me, could that be enough to make that decision to do that wrong?
Unfortunately, it's not. But still, the flip side to that coin, though, still the mother and father will come up to a prison cell, into the prison to visit their sons and daughters out of love. Now that is a mother and father's love.
Yeah.
Even though you shamed me, you went against my teachings, I still love you. And I'm here for you. Now, what kind of pain do you think that adds to that 5 minutes? Adds to those 27 years? Even forgiveness, when you ask for forgiveness from your parents, and they will give it to you because they're willing to give it to you because they are showing themselves up in that visiting room.
Can I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
Did your mom come and visit you?
Yes, she did.
What was that like for her? From you to her, what did you see?
Difficult, but my mother, again, she had too much love, if you ask me, because my mother, man, I'm telling you, my mother she loved from her heart. And she would not only would she give you her last, she would go borrow and give to you. Case in point, there was a man who knocked on the door 5 times for the same burial of a dog, and my mother gave him money. Now, I know that the dog thing hits home with you.
Yes.
But I said, Mama, this is the same dude, the same dog 5 times. He's burying this dog. And she said, I want to show my love. Now, I said, my mother was an extraordinary woman. She had met my father when she was 15 and he was in his mid-20s, and her love for her family was undying, but at the end of the day, my mother passed away in a care home. Not in her home, not in a home where she was being taken care of by her siblings, in a care home, because they had their families.
Oh, no.
And they couldn't take care of her.
And is that kind of your example of why you kind of feel like that too? By seeing that done that way, or that was just your own?
Well, that's part of it. But see, when I would go pick up my mother after I came home from prison to take her to church, I remember one time I picked up my mother, took her to church, took her to dinner, brought her back to the care home. She said, "Why you bring me back here?" they didn't give my room away. I said, "Well, let me go in here and see what happened." You don't need to go check. I told you.
Oh, she didn't want to be in there either.
She did not want to be there.
Wow.
And see, you know what? As people get older and not able to take care of themselves, and care homes, this is no backlash on all care homes, but I mean, because senior citizens need to be taken care of and looked after.
Yes.
In a decent and compassionate way.
Yeah, that part.
But why didn't the church? Why didn't the church come to this was a woman who was in the church for 30, 40 plus years.
Yeah.
Why didn't they come to have Bible study with her?
Ooh, you're gonna go all the way there.
See, but this is the thing. When again, as we get older, and as we adapt to our pains and make the adjustments that we must make, no one wants to be a burden on not only on your family, but you don't want to be dependent on, I want a glass of water, so I got to call you, and you in Tupelo, Mississippi.
Yeah, that's exaggerated now.
Well, that's exaggerated.
You're not going to call your child to come bring you a glass of water. Even though you used to call me from outside to get the remote control that was sitting right next to them to turn the channel.
Exactly.
You talk about that kind of...
Yeah.
But I'm talking about when it's time for like a care... I don't know. That's a tough conversation to hear.
Okay, that's a tough conversation. You're in the middle of your radio show, and your mother or father calls a radio manager.
Mm-hmm.
Put me through to Farron.
Yeah.
Right now.
Call her. You say what? You're live.
Bring me some water. Right now.
I don't think that's realistic. I don't think my mom would call me
remote control right there by.
Yeah, but that was then. Today, that conversation has evolved. I don't think that they would. I don't think that. I don't think no.
Okay, but
I don't think that.
Indulge me. Would you get up and leave if they did?
No, I would not get up and leave. Because that's not even realistic. I'll be like, Mom, for real, Mom. Like, Mom, I'm on the air right now, Mom. Can I bring it to you when I'm done? Like, no, that's not realistic.
And the radio manager saying, "And look up."
Oh, no. That's a serious scenario right there. That's a serious scenario. If no.
But you wouldn't come
at the moment, and I'm on the air.
Yeah.
No, my mom wouldn't even do that. I wouldn't even get a call like that.
I would. I would get a call like that.
Well, then now I know why you feel like that. Because but I'm gonna say this, that burden,
Now look at the word that you use, burden. Okay.
That burden.
Okay.
From the mind of a child or a teenager, and to make a decision that I don't want to be a burden on my family as a child. Can you imagine the trajectory of that child's life as they get older and they don't want to be a burden on that family? That's going to play over not into your own family, but into relationships. It's going to play into like if you have children. I'm just saying, making a decision that I don't want to be a burden, and you're not a burden. That's what I'm saying. You may not even be a burden, but because we think that we're the burden, then imagine how your life is going to look 20, 30, 40 years. Instead of being straight, it's going to go off to the right, because any conversation you get into a relationship with anybody in your heart is, I don't want to be a burden. So you're even going to behave a certain way that the person can't even give you love because in my mind I'm a burden. And I could say that because I can replace that for myself, that in relationships I'm unsafe. And I grew up at 2 years old, have a mind of a child at 2 years old, toward my mother, that says I'm unsafe in a relationship with my mother at 2 years old. I can now look back at 56 and be like, well, no wonder my relationship like that.
But I'm sure
that's a serious decision that we make.
Let's expand on the word burden.
Burden, okay.
Now that burden can also be looked at if the parent passes away without burial insurance. And how many times in our community...
that was my dad. My dad didn't have insurance when he passed away suddenly.
Now, did you know that before before he passed away?
What's wild is, in April, my dad passed in May. In April, he told me he wanted to buy a car. I'm like, why are you buying a car? His health was deteriorating, but he was still wanting to drive, that identity, that independence. Mm-hmm. I'm like, bro, why are you going to buy a car? Do you have life insurance? No. Well, who's going to pay for your stuff when you're gone? You are. I was like, what?
Is that a burden?
No.
Okay.
No, because when he did pass in May, I was blessed to have money from my school that I was attending school, and I took one of those 9/11 checks that I was making for going to school, and I paid off his cremation.
My father passed away, did not have life insurance as well.
Yeah.
And this was a man who made it a point to have hundreds of dollars in his wallet. Mm. But I'm saying, I don't have to worry about that because my sons have already.
See, they saw that and they made the corrections, and that's what we get to. So I'm saying, even us who are dealing with the I'm a burden stuff, we have to make the correction because that might not be true. Mm-hmm. Me being a burden may not be the truth. It might be true to me because of how I saw the past and what made me make that decision. I'm a burden. When I talk to my sickle cell community, they spent Christmas in the hospital at 5 years old, Thanksgiving in the hospital at 10, and nobody's having Christmas because they're in the hospital. Thanksgiving gets canceled because they're in the hospital. They don't go on vacation because they had a crisis, so now the vacation is canceled. And that child makes a decision in their mind that I'm messing up Christmas and these holidays. I'm a burden. But they make it silently. They don't say it out loud to the family. They say it to themselves, and then they behave a particular way. And honestly, when you talk to the family, they're like, no, you're not a burden. So sometimes we make those decisions about ourselves. Then we live because nobody's coming to save me, which is not right or wrong. I agree. Nobody's coming to save us. Only Christ. So what's saving? Are we emotional save, or are we talking about physically? Like, those are the things that sometimes I get you, but I also can see that the love that you could be missing out because you feel like you're a burden on people, or nobody's coming to save me, so I'm Han Solo.
But see, even when my father passed away, his cause of his cancer, he was living in a senior citizen complex, watching TV with his feet up on the table, leaning back.
He was chilling.
He falls asleep, falls on his back.
Oh, no.
That caused cancer in his body to start.
Oh, no.
He went to the hospital. They gave him chemotherapy. After going through chemotherapy, he became weaker, became unable to move, became paralyzed. And he asked my oldest brother to, when they reached the decision, he had to go to a care home. He said, Houston Lee, take me home. He said, Dad, I can't take you home because I can't take care of you.
Yeah.
You know, my father was transported. This is recorded transferred to the care home, was not there 24 hours before he passed away.
Oh no.
So I'm saying these situations about parents, about burdens, about how we see things, there is
we make decisions based off of those.
That's right.
And so that's what and that's the vein that why we're even doing these conversations as boys, as males, boys, men, fathers, grandfathers. If we made a decision like that in our ingredients as a child mindset that I'm a burden, how do you think you're going to be as a man? How do you think you're going to be as a father? With that in the background, with that as one of your main ingredients.
Well, what is that song you play about? I think you're a man's son now. What was that song that you play about? And the cats in
the cats in the cradle. Yeah,
how life
is
moving rapidly.
Yes.
You never think that it's going to happen to you.
To you, yes, exactly.
And then when it does, you stopped in your tracks.
Yeah.
To realize I've lost that moment.
We gonna get deeper into the father side of it in June, because I see that's gonna definitely be a male man conversation because that's important. But I want to finish up with mom, the mother to son and son to mother relationship. The mother to the son is life. She carries life. She nurtures growth. And she shapes early understanding of love and care. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely.
Absolutely the truth. I'm gonna tell you this.
Okay.
So, I had all these things that I made up about my mom as a child, right? That she abandoned me and all these other stuff, right? But then my journey, I realized that she never did abandon me, right? She did love me, and most recently, I was safe in relationships from the 2-year-old, but I was 54 when I discovered that. But I realized that the women that I dated, that I chose, was the same skin color as my mom.
None of them had that quality of my mom.
So the fracture. I'm saying this to say sometimes the fracture and the love that we didn't get, that we think we didn't get from our mother, that we internalize it, and then we look for that outside of us to find it in a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know that the son, when the son and the mom and dad are in the house, that the son is in competition with the father for the mother's love?
Psychologically,
like that's a real conversation that we have. And what does that do to the son and father relationship? When he's trying to get the love that he needs from the mother, there's a emotional competition. And how we correct that, how I learn to correct that is the father has to go to that son and say, "Hey, look, you're gonna get you a woman, you're gonna get you a wife later, and when you grow up, this is my wife, this is your mother." So but how many of us go through that?
Well, my father already had a remedy for that. Our stuff was packed on the doorstep. You out of here. Again, man, what you don't understand, my father was a no-nonsense person. And I agree with you but my mother, she showed all of us what it was to be loved.
Yeah. They say that the mother is the son's first love.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So if that's a conversation that the mother is the son's first love, can you imagine all the decisions that child makes in their head and then live from that? Like, that's the ingredients that we're talking about, that if the parents don't have the skills to make those corrections along the way.
Absolutely. But parents, we're talking about two. I think what that mother is there by herself.
Okay, so let me correct that.
Okay.
So, the mother and father there, because some mothers and fathers aren't parents.
That's right.
So the Bible says, honor your father and mother and obey your parent.
Mm-hmm.
So if you honor your father and mother and you obey your parent, then there's a whole different relationship that you will see. So again, if the father and mother doesn't have the ingredients to give that child what that child needs to grow up for their life, then that's where we get to that space of.
And there's no cookie cutter.
Well, there's no, yeah.
No, there's no. You and I, as brothers, in that same, you're going to get a different treatment emotionally than what I would, because the needs there, and parents recognizing that.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. We with our conversations that we're bringing to the table, we can teach that skill that's missing, so that the parent can pay attention to the child and recognize the behavior change and recognize the attitude and speak to that versus discipline you because you acting up.
Correct.
Because you're trying to get attention from me as a son to a father or a son to a mother. And that's what I'm saying. When that's broken, you said earlier, I got a 5-minute decision, and I'm playing back in my mind. My parents don't care. They didn't pay attention. My dad don't love me. He wasn't even there for me. Oh, let's go rob the bank.
Let's go rob.
So the honor your father. If there's honor in your father and mother, then I'm gonna think about robbing that bank. I'm gonna be like, man, what would my dad say? What would my mom say? My mom showed me love. No, but if you don't have that connection to your heart back to that family, it's gonna be to where you're seeking acceptance from. And I'm saying that what we're up to is one of the conversations and the agreements of what it is to be a male and a female and the role of a father, because a father is a role, a mother is a role. We have the skills to go back and make those corrections and restore that family. That's what we're up to. So that 5-minute decision.
And it's not and I brought up the 5 minutes, and if you bring it up now, the corrections, plural, there has to be a number of corrections, because once you, again, back to the layers, make that one correction, then you say that, oh, this leads to something else.
Right.
And this, and this. You must start getting to and stripped it down to the foundation.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
In order to get direction, in order to recalculate, in order to refocus.
And that's your brain that's nanoseconds. That's you right. Saying to me, hey, Farron, let's go to the store after school and steal this candy bar out of the liquor store. Nah, man, my mom ain't. What? But if I don't have that connection to my mom and my father and mother, I'm like, yeah, let's go.
Now, even when you say that, my brother made the mistake of going to the store stealing the candy, getting caught, and the one who snitched on him told my father hung my brother up by his ankles.
He got a whooping.
He got a beating,
Yeah.
So I'm saying, now that was my father's correction.
Yes.
And my mother's correction was, let's talk to him.
Yeah.
No. Talk is over,
I want to say this before we get out of here, before I play your song too. This is on the real, though. For those of you who are listening and listen to this episode, Mother's Day is Sunday. If you are not connected to your mother and you want to be connected to her, like you haven't talked to her in years, I'm here to tell you that you can, if you still got her phone number, get her phone number. But before you do, I'm asking you to go sit down and just write down as many things that you can about how you want to thank your mother. See, sometimes we don't even acknowledge our mothers. Sit down, get a piece of paper, and think back to your childhood. And what could you thank your mother for? For making you peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, for making you cool, whatever you could think of. Write that on a piece of paper, as many as you can, and call your mother. Call her and say, I'm going to give you some instruction. Call her and say, hey, Mom, how you doing? Don't say nothing. I want to read this. I want to read something to you. And just read that. Mom, I want to thank you for, and just read the list.
That's good.
Read the list, and then say, now, Mom, what do you think? How do you feel? Because sometimes we don't even acknowledge our mother or father, the good stuff that they did for us. We only give them the bad, the negative. But this is reconciliation. If you're willing to do that, if you're willing to be connected to your mother before Mother's Day or on Mother's Day, I'm telling you this, it works. Call her and just say, Mom, I just want to read this letter to you, this information, and just read the thank yous and just say, I love you. Acknowledge your mom. You have time. When it's harder when she's gone. It's the extra effort if she's gone. Do it while she's here. We say give them flowers. Your language, your voice is your flowers. Not flowers from the garden, but your voice is acknowledgement. There's the flowers. I want to play this song real quick for Mr. Walker. He wanted to definitely hear this.
Somebody lift your hand.
What does that song mean to you, man?
As we celebrate the greatness of our God.
Like you said, standing by yourself and no one's coming to save you. But in the end, he was always there for me. You know, I could come to him. And he never turned me away.
And I thank you for saying that, because that's my point too. Mm-hmm. You know, yes, we're supposed to, you know, care for people and trust people, but at the end of the day, emotionally, who's coming to save you? Because that's what it usually is about our emotional state. That's why it's Mental Health Awareness Month, because of the emotional state of us. Sometimes we're so broken and fractured that we don't realize that people are trying to love us, but we think that we're on our own. I don't belong. There's something wrong with me. That's not true. That's not the truth. People care about you. And if nobody cares about you, God does. He will leave the 99 for you. That's my end of the message.
And come meet you.
Wherever you at. All right, thanks for tuning in. This is the Farron Dozier Show. WDCONSET.org for the sickle cell trait awareness. Again, thank you for tuning in. Next week.
You did that Stanford thing, though, man.
I did the Stanford thing, man. I appreciate them. Tune in next week. I got scheduled. My buddy Randy and his family's coming. They coming to hang out on the deck live. So stay tuned for next Tuesday. This is the Farron Dozier Show on KCA Radio, 106.5 FM, 1050 AM. Shout us out. What's the count? Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm blessed, my brother. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Hey, did you see the game last night?
Oh, that was a good game.
But did you see the shot?
I lost money from that shot.
Oh, man, that shot was cold,
I
man.
hated it, but it was good. Damn. What's in those jeans?
You really want to know?
I do.
Exhaustion, muscle spasms, asthmatic issues, unexpected sickle cell trait crises.
Damn. Are you serious? When I was young, I found out I had sickle cell trait. My mom's told me, but I ain't have no knowledge of it. But when I got older, I had a child, and the doctor told me my daughter has sickle cell trait. Do you know the fact that both parents have sickle cell trait? There's a 50% chance the child may have the trait, and 25% chance the child may have the disease.
Hey, that's what's the count. Do you know that 2.5 million people in the United States have sickle cell trait, 300 million people globally? I didn't find out I had sickle cell trait until I was in the Army, 10 years. Next thing you know, I had a sickle cell trait exertion site.
Sickle cell? I thought that was a black gene or something.
Nah, man, the Latin community is number 2. 1 out of 36,000 babies are being born with sickle cell disease. You could be Caucasian, Mediterranean, European. You gotta know your bloodline, man. There is an inherited gene in our community that has been forgotten. The name is sickle cell trait. WDCONSET, also known as What's the Count, is out to bring awareness, education, and prevention to people all over the globe. Want more information? Call us now at 323-215-5384 or visit www.wdconset.org.
Sakimagani reports